Hi guys, and welcome to Tuesday Friday with FIXITGEARWARE-SECURITY. For this week's episode, we will be talking about VirtualBox Appliance installation. So as we all know, VirtualBox has a lot of new changes on their various platforms, right from their website down to the VirtualBox Appliance installation. So these changes are quite cool, especially when it comes to the website. It makes it much easier to download the version of the appliance that is compatible with the various operating system you're using, and also a straightforward visualization where you can download the extension pack as well, which is necessary for the VirtualBox appliance to run fully on your computer system. So that's in terms of the website of the VirtualBox. Then when you move on to the new installation of the VirtualBox appliance, you can notice a lot of drastic changes. So the first change here is that the user can select between basic and expert user. So for basic, a few informations are displayed to the user using this VirtualBox appliance to install or run their various operating system. Then for the expert, exposes more configurations and settings in details that makes the user have a detailed visualization about the VirtualBox appliance. So before we get started, you should be able to know how to install the VirtualBox machine, how to import the extension pack either by one click or by adding the extension pack as a file. And that's all you need before you can proceed to the next stage of this week's episode presentation regarding the VirtualBox appliance installation and troubleshooting. So for this week, what we'll be focusing more on is that we will be showing you the reputable links where you can download this latest version of the VirtualBox machine. Then after we're done, we'll move on to fixing the older version of your Kali Linux operating system. So this older version is the version that you exported in the previous installation of the VirtualBox appliance. You were running this Kali Linux operating system, right? So once you export this file as an OVF file, you have to import it back to the new installation. However, with this new installation, it's a different version and a different configuration settings. So you would definitely have issues trying to log into this your Kali OS that was running previously on the older version of the VirtualBox appliance. So that will be showing you how to resolve this problem in the new VirtualBox appliance running on your computer system or computing device. So once we're done, we would now resolve the issue of the login problem. So what is the login issue problem is that this new version of the Kali Linux also has a different driver that needs to execute the graphics card, right? So this graphics card is necessary for visualization and presentation of your icons, your folders, and just like, the GUI of your computer system or the applications or your browser, whatever you're running on the computer system where this Kali Linux operating system is installed, right? So we would show you how you're going to drive these drivers and resolve the issue. So once we're done, we'll also move on to show you how to resolve the VirtualBox guest addition issues to install the latest version of the guest addition for the VirtualBox machine on your Kali Linux operating system. Then once we're done, we'll now tweak the genome. Genome, as we all know, has a very good UI where it presents your icon, your desktop icons and files and folders, right? So we'll be tweaking this as troubleshooting this older version of the Kali Linux in the new VirtualBox appliance installation. Comes with a lot of hassles and glitches. So we would resolve this without the need of you installing a fresh Kali Linux operating system and importing snapshots of necessary files. You don't need to do all that. So we'll troubleshoot the operating system running on the older version of the Kali Linux on this new VirtualBox appliance that you installed. Then getting back your files, your folders, your icons, your browser histories, your existing browser tabs, all this will be restored back to your computer without you losing any of those files, even though you're running this old Kali Linux operating system on the new version of the VirtualBox machine or appliance. Then after that, we'll now update the icon cache. So updating this icon cache is very important, as this is now a new environment. So we need to update the icon cache database. Then after we're done updating the icon cache database, we now have to run the icons as executable again. So this is very important that we also do that. So all this process, will be walking you through all this process, showing you all that without you having difficulties to resolve these issues on your own. So before we get started, I want to first apologize if my voice sounds a bit muffled. It's been a stressful week and I had a little bit cold and flu, but it doesn't stop us to do whatever we have to do. Like we previously said in our previous videos, the show must go on no matter what. Whether we're down, whether we're tired, we're here for you. So we'll always do whatever that is within our best, as long as we're breathing and we're not dead. Nobody's dying anyway. We'll do our best to be here for you. So this is the new UI when your Kali Linux operating system is trying to start up on the new VirtualBox appliance. So you'll see this visualization, this new icon design, and a bit of informations of instructions to do regarding pressing keyboards and functions to select specific events or boot devices you want to execute or want the computer to boot. So you should be able to know how to install VirtualBox, but if you do not know how to do that, check the description. I'll be posting the link on how to set up your pen testing lab. There we walk you through the installation process on how to get the VirtualBox appliance installed on your computer. Also, if you do not know where to get the files, here you can see to download the VirtualBox, you go to this link. Okay, so once you go to this link, select the VirtualBox software application or appliance that corresponds to the operating system you're running. Then once you're done, you click the extension pack download button. There you can download the extension pack that is necessary for the latest version of the VirtualBox appliance you're installing. Then after you're done, you go to the second link, which is in this presentation. So this second link is where you're going to download the VirtualBox guest edition. As we all know, the guest edition is a very important file or ISO image that is necessary to drive your graphics display and all that is necessary for your VirtualBox to run the operating system of your Kali Linux that is installed on the appliance itself. So it's not necessarily only Kali Linux. It can also be Windows operating system or any other version of operating system you have installed on this VirtualBox. So the guest edition is very necessary for you to update them to the latest driver so that you do not have any situation whereby you cannot be able to log in or run the operating system efficiently because of the lack of the latest updates in terms of the drivers necessary for the VirtualBox to run the operating system that is installed on it. So that being said, let's move on to show you the necessary things you have to do to get your older version of your Kali Linux operating system running effectively on the new VirtualBox update of the appliance. So here is the new VirtualBox. You can see the UI, which is the user's interface, is so cool. Then if we click on settings here, you can see we have the basic and we have the expert. So quite a good UI design and quite cool. And you can search for anything here. So let's say I want to search for let's say optical. Right now you can see optical is loaded on the storage, right? So this is quite cool. They made it so easy in this new update that you can access anything as easy as possible. So if you have the extension pack, you can always click here and locate the files where the extension pack is. But if you don't know how to do this manually like this, right? You can just double click on the extension pack. Let me show you something. So here's the extension pack, right? So if I just double click like this right now, You can see it will just pop up to reinstall. So I do not need to install the extension pack. So I'll just cancel this. Okay. So it's very easy. It's not a problem to resolve this extension pack issues. Okay. Or get it installed. So the next thing you want to do is you click on start, and I guess you know how to import files, right? If it's a new installation, you will see this import export icon in both fonts or both graphic display. But since we have already imported a Kali Linux or an operating system here, that's the reason why we have to access the file to import a new appliance. Okay, so you should know how to do this. It's not difficult. Okay, now back to what we're saying. We click on start. Now we're trying to log into our older version of the Kali Linux operating system on the new version of the VirtualBox installation. So now we are presented with our login screen, right? So if we try to log in right now and we put our password, now you will notice something. After a while, there will be a flash on the screen and it will default back to our login screen. Now, as you can see, there has been a flash on the screen and it default back to our login screen, right? Now, the reason why this happened is because one, the VirtualBox kernel is trying to load, but it's recognizing that the operating system is running an older version, which is not compatible with the latest version of the VirtualBox machine. Okay, so let me show you something. If we come to help and we click about VirtualBox, you can see this is the latest one, right? We are running 7.14, right? And it's running Qt 6.5.3. But our operating system, which is the operating system of our Kali Linux machine, running on the older version of the VirtualBox previously, is running an older version of a kernel that is not compatible with the latest version of this VirtualBox installation. Now, not just the kernel, the genome compatibility, you know, when we troubleshoot the genome, right, we did the VirtualBox guest addition, right? So the genome compatibility with the previous version of the VirtualBox, right, it's only stable with that previous version of the VirtualBox guest addition. So now we need a latest VirtualBox guest addition for this genome to be able to recognize this latest version of the Kali Linux, latest version of the VirtualBox machine and be able to log in, right? Then the last problem here also, that is the issue why this login cannot function normally, is because of missing COP filters. So COP filters are like text files that are stored or executed by a program. So this is interpreted in such a way that the computer can be able to read these text files. Okay, so now when we try to type, the COP filters that this older version of the VirtualBox is running is different from the necessary COP filters that is important or that is necessary for this new version of the VirtualBox machine. Now, let's now get into our Kali Linux using an alternative approach. So how do we do that? We do Ctrl-Alt F1 on the keyboard. Now we log in through the terminal. Okay, so we put our username. Okay, then we enter our password. Then we hold Ctrl-C at the same time to get the root terminal, right? Now, if we type start X, you'll see what's going to happen right now. Now, as you can see, we are now back, okay, to our older version, right, of VirtualBox. And if we click the terminal and we say ls mode, grep vbox, and we hit enter, you can see, right? Now, these versions are the older versions, okay? And they are not compatible with the latest version, okay? So if we clear this right now, let's log out. You see what's going to happen now? So if we log out, we'll say log out, we're going back to the terminal. Now, to resolve this issue, you need to follow these steps, okay? the first thing you need to do is to run this command. You run sudo apt update, then we provide our password. Good. Now the Kali Linux has been updated, right? Now it's telling us list upgradable. We clear this. The next thing we do is we run the command full upgrade. So say sudo apt full upgrade. Now what we're trying to do is that we're trying to upgrade all the necessary package that is compatible with the latest version of this VirtualBox appliance. Okay, so we hit enter. It's gonna take some time, so we say yes and we hit enter. Good. Now, as you can see, the upgrade is completed, right? Then we have some errors. It tells us about subprocess user being dpkg, right? Returned an error. Now, the reason is that when this upgrade was going on, there are some Debian packages that were unpacked, but were not properly configured, right? So once those packages were not properly configured and not properly read during the upgrade of the OS, this error would occur. So the next thing we want to do is that we want to instruct the Kali Linux OS to configure any unpacked packages that has not been properly configured. So to do that, we will run the command sudo dpkg, which stands for Debian package --configure -a. So all Debian package that were unpacked and not configured should be configured. Then we hit enter. Now you can see all the settings are running, right? So we wait for the process to be completed. Then we move on to the next stage. Now this configuration has been completed. As you can see, there are no errors anymore, right? Like critical errors. So the next thing we want to do is that we have to install GDM3. Okay, so we do this. We'll say sudo apt install GDM3. Good. Now GDM3 has been installed, but we have some information as well here, right? Which shows an error in terms of dependencies that were broken during the process. So to fix this problem, we say sudo, let's clear the screen. Then we say sudo apt --fix broken install, and we hit enter. Then we say yes. Now, since we have fixed the broken packages, the next thing we want to do is we want to reinstall GDM3. So say sudo apt --reinstall install GDM3. Then we hit enter and we say yes. Now we move it up and we select GDM3. Now we're done reinstalling GDM3. The next thing we want to do is we want to reinstall GNOME. Okay, so let's clear the screen first. Now the reason why we want to reinstall GNOME is that we want the GNOME to now be compatible with the latest version of the VirtualBox appliance installation, right? So the moment we reinstall the GNOME, all the settings in our previous installation will be wiped out and a new installation settings will now be configured on the Kali Linux OS. So to do that, we have to run this command. We say sudo apt --reinstall install GNOME, and we hit enter. Now you can see we have cup filters errors, right? Now over here you can see lib cup filters, right? Like we previously described. So the cup filters running here is an obsolete version that is compatible with the previous version of the VirtualBox appliance that is running. Therefore, we have to update to the latest version of the cup filters, which is compatible with the VirtualBox appliance. So we have to clear our screen right now. So the next thing we have to do is that we type the command sudo apt-get install reinstall cups filters. Sorry, there's a mistake here. We have to clear this and retype again. So we type sudo apt-get install reinstall cups filters. This will update the cups filters which are necessary for the latest version of the Kali Linux VirtualBox machine. So we'll wait while this is being updated before we move on to the next stage. So now we are done installing the cup filters. The next thing we want to do is that we want to reinstall GNOME, okay? Because we previously had the error with that, right? So we say sudo apt dash reinstall install GNOME. And we say yes. Now we are done installing the GNOME. Let's now reinstall the GNOME shell. So let's clear this. So to reinstall the GNOME shell, we say sudo apt reinstall install GNOME shell and we hit enter. Now once GNOME shell has been reinstalled, we want to configure any Debian package that was unpacked and that was not properly configured, right? So we run the command sudo dpkg --configure -a. Good. Now we clear this. Then once we are done, we want to reconfigure the GDM3 installation, right? So we say sudo dpkg reconfigure GDM3. Then you hit enter. Good. Now we clear screen. Now once that is done, we want to auto clean any residue files that are not important, right? So we say sudo apt auto clean. Good. Now it's done, right? Then we clear. Then we auto remove any file that is not important. So we say sudo apt auto remove. Okay, and we hit enter. Then we say Y and we hit enter. Now once that is done, the next thing we want to do is to reboot the system. So we type reboot and we hit enter. Now this is going to take some time to load the necessary files, so let's wait for a while. And this is due to the fact that it's treating this installation as a new operating system. And as you can see, the operating system is up, right? And the UI is different from our previous installation, right? So if we click this and we type our password, and as you can see right now, it's treating this Kali Linux operating system as a new installation, right? So here you just select English and you click next. You click next, turn off location services, you click next. Now it's telling us we can now start using our Kali Linux GNU Linux, right? Now we click this. Now as you can see, our icons are missing, there is nothing here. And if we click here, there is nothing, right? And if we click on apps and we click on terminal, now if we type ls mode pipeline, we grep and we say vbox, you can see now the drivers are here, right? Now you might be wondering, but I thought it's the version of the guest addition is running. No, the reason is that during the update process and upgrade process, Kali has upgraded the VirtualBox guest edition that is necessary for this operating system to boot, okay? So if you're not familiar on how to install the default Kali Linux guest additions, you can run this command sudo apt install VirtualBox guest x11, okay? And you put your password. You can see it tells us the guest is already the newest version, okay? So no need to use our guest addition ISO file, which we downloaded, so we do not complicate issues. But if you run this command, ls mode, grep vbox, and you do not see all these necessary drivers, then it means your guest addition is not installed. So you can now use the ISO file to troubleshoot this, okay? However, if you follow this process we just outlined during this presentation, you should not have any issues regarding installing your latest version of the VirtualBox guest addition. So now that we're done, we move on to the next stage. So this next stage is that we want to get back our desktop icons. So to do that, we have to get our genome tweaks installed and troubleshoot a few configurations. So to do that, we'll say sudo, we'll say apt, we update our Kali Linux first, and we hit enter, and this should be done. Good. Now we clear screen. Then the next thing we want to do is we want to install genome tweaks. Okay, so these are like tweaks for configurations and settings, right? So we say sudo apt install genome tweaks, and we hit enter. Good. Now it's already the latest version, right? So we clear this. Now once that is done, we now type in our terminal, say genome, we say tweaks. Okay, that will pop it out. Then we go to appearance. For icons, right, we can choose whatever themes we want. Okay, but as you can see here, the icons are not showing yet, and the default here we're using is Adwaita for cursor, and for icons we're using flat blue remix, right? So the reason is that we do not have the desktop icons ng installed. Okay, so we have to install that for us to be able to see the icons. So what do? We clear screen. Okay, we say sudo apt install genome shell extension desktop icons. Then we hit enter. Then we say yes. Now once that is done, we clear our screen. Now we want to set the genome settings to be true. So say g settings. Okay, set org.genome.desktop.background. Okay, then we'll say show, we'll say desktop icons, we'll say true. Okay, then we hit enter. Good. Now once we're done, we need to install dconf editor, right? So we say sudo, play the screen first, say sudo apt install dconf editor. So you might be wondering, what does this do? This is a way for us to configure the necessary settings such as themes, desktop icons, and so on in our Kali Linux machine. Okay, so that is done. So we can now reboot our system. We say reboot the system, and we hit enter. Next, we log in. Good. As you can see right now, our icons are now here, right? So that has been resolved. However, if we look at these icons here, they are gray, right? They are not showing the actual color. So for us to resolve that, we come here, we click our terminal. Okay, let's expand this. So the next thing we have to do is we have to update the database. So we say sudo update. Then we select desktop, and we say database, and we hit enter, and we provide our password. Good. And we clear this. Now that is done, right? Okay, now once that is done, we can now come here and we say allow launching. We come here, we say allow launching, and we come here, we say allow launching. And where is the last one? This one, we say allow launching. Oh, sorry, that's not the last one. Then we say allow launching. Good. Now, if we click on any of these icons, it should now be running efficiently. Okay. As you can see, our SOAP UI is running. Now, if we go back to our browser, okay, previous browser, okay, let's open Firefox. So we just come here, we click on Firefox. As you can see, our browser is running efficiently without any issues, right? And we can now quit this. Okay, sorry about that. So now if we type go version, you can see everything is running efficiently. And if we type subfinder -h, you can see everything is running efficiently. Okay, so with that, you do not need to install a new Kali Linux or try to take snapshot and transfer those files to the new installation, or getting worried of the fact that, okay, this new version of VirtualBox machine cannot run efficiently on your computer system. So that's it. And we have been able to resolve this issue. So we hope this would be able to resolve the issues for those who are worried about installing the latest version of the VirtualBox appliance and importing their operating system, which was running on the older version of their VirtualBox installation, without experiencing any issues regarding backing up their files or taking snapshot of their VirtualBox appliance, or the need to install a new Kali Linux operating system and troubleshooting the issues regarding importing the files from the older version because of the difference in the drivers and other necessary installation files that are very vital for the new version of the VirtualBox appliance to run their Kali operating system, which was imported. So we are done with this. And if we clear this, if we log out, you can also log out. You can see everything is running. So you can log out. As you can see, yes, we want to log out. And if we log in again, right? So here you can see. So everything is running effectively and efficiently. So over here, you can see the Tor browser icon. We can launch it. You can see everything is working. Then what else? Okay, okay, let's revert back to our previous wallpaper. So we can come to places, we can go to pictures, and we look for our company's background image, which is FIXITGEARWARE-SECURITY, and we right click and we say set as desktop background, and that should do the trick. We say set, and that's it. Now everything is working efficiently, and we can always search our various folders. You can see all our files are there, nothing is missing. Okay, so that's how you figure out this installation with the new VirtualBox appliance, and also importing your Kali OS, which is running in the previous version of the VirtualBox machine or appliance, without the need to take snapshots or back up your files and reinstalling the Kali Linux operating system, or even the need to restore files manually to the new installation. So as you can see, this is our existing Kali that has been running on the various older versions of the VirtualBox appliance, which we have installed this operating system for our pen testing labs. So let's power up our device. So with that, we have come to an end of this week's episode. If you find this video interesting, please do not hesitate to give us the like by hitting that thumbs up button, subscribe by hitting that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you'll be the first to get notified when next we post another episode on the Tools Friday series with FIXITGEARWARE-SECURITY. Thanks for watching and see you next week. Bye for now.